Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will start with our third unit, which is titled What Will Be, Will Be. Our lesson today is the listen and discuss lesson in your books, page 34 and 35. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 34 and 35, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. Let's get started. To make a connection with the previous unit, there was a question. What is your dream job? Then you will answer me with, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a dentist, I want to be an engineer. So in the future, I will be this or that. Here we are speaking about things that are not reality today. They will happen in the future. My dream job is related to my future. So the whole idea, what will be, is about the idea of the upcoming things which are the future. Not now, later on, tomorrow, next year, the following year. So, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to make predictions about the future and answer some questions on the text. We are going to make our own predictions. Let's get started. On page 34, I want you to read the title in here. What is the title? It is in a big font. The title is A Vision of the Future. A Vision of the Future. Does it remind you of anything that we have covered before? Something from our own life? What does it remind you of? What comes to your mind when I say a vision of the future? It reminded me of Vision 2030 that we have read about in Unit 1, that we are living its consequences and the results. Okay, now I want you to look at the same page. We're having pictures in here. What do we have? How many? We're having 4 pictures. And these pictures are for, here we're having 3 books. Let's read the titles together. Paris in the 20th century. The second one, From the Earth to the Moon. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And we're having here someone's picture. From the picture, what can you tell about him? Is he a scientist? Is he? I believe that he is a writer because we're having these books. We're going to get to know who he is. Okay? Let's get started in here. Now I want you to listen to what is said for the whole text. It is up to 10 lines, no more than that. And you will tell me about this man, who this man is. Let's listen together.
The French writer Jules Verne wrote several books in the late 1800s. In them, he wrote about the future. He asked, what will life be like at the end of the 20th century, 100 years from now? In one of his adventure novels, From the Earth to the Moon, his characters traveled to the moon in a rocket. In another novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, his characters dove through the depths of the ocean in a submarine in the shape of a whale. In a novel titled Paris in the 20th Century, Verne described a city with skyscrapers of glass and steel, high-speed trains, gas-powered automobiles, and a global communications network. Space rockets and submarines and other things in his novels didn't exist in Verne's time, but many of the inventions that Verne imagined became reality by the end of the 1900s. That's why people call Verne a visionary.
Okay, so let's talk about this man. From the text, you can tell that his name is Jules Verne. He is Jules Verne, and he is a French novelist. He is a novelist, he is a writer, he writes novels, these 3 novels, and he is French, from France. Also, he lived between 1828 and 1902, so until the early 20th century. He is called the father of science fiction. Do you have an idea what science fiction is? It is the genre of writing stories or coming up with movies that are related to science. However, they are not real. Imagining things and predicting. Okay, so this is about Jules Verne. Now I want you to listen to the first section of this and come up with the answer. What did Jules Verne say that life would be like? So what did Jules Verne say life would be like? He predicted many things. In the text that you are about to hear, what did he predict? Let's listen.
The French writer Jules Verne wrote several books in the late 1800s. In them, he wrote about the future. He asked, "What will life be like at the end of the 20th century, 100 years from now?"
So, what did he predict? He is trying to predict what might happen in the future. And he came up with scenarios. He came up with stories about how life would look like in the 20th century. Let's listen to the following in here and you will answer the same question. What did Jules Verne say life would be like in this or that story? Let's listen.
In one of his adventure novels, From the Earth to the Moon, his characters traveled to the moon in a rocket.
So, in his novel, which is From the Earth to the Moon, what did he predict? What did he say? He wasn't living that situation. However, he predicted that people will travel to the moon on a rocket. This is a rocket, a space ship. So it wasn't there. However, he came up with the idea and he said in the future, people are going to go onto the moon. They will land on the moon using a spaceship or a rocket. Okay, and the following in here, what did Jules Verne say life would be like in the future? Let's listen about the second novel.
In another novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, his characters dove through the depths of the ocean in a submarine in the shape of a whale.
So, in the following novel, which is called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, what did he predict? He said that people will dive through the depths of the sea, of the ocean, in a submarine in the shape of a whale. This is a submarine. It's just like a ship that will dive underneath the ocean. So people are going to explore the ocean. Okay? These were his predictions. The following in here, I want you to listen and tell what did Jules Verne say life would be like in his following novel.
In a novel titled Paris in the 20th Century, Verne described a city with skyscrapers of glass and steel, high-speed trains, gas-powered automobiles, and a global communications network.
So in his following novel, which is called Paris in the 20th Century, he was trying here to describe Paris in the 20th century, so in the future at his time, and he described it as we're having skyscrapers, just like these, high-rise buildings, skyscrapers built of glass and steel, high-speed trains, they didn't have ones, and gas-powered automobiles, cars and vehicles, and global communication network, which is something that is just like the things that we have, the internet that we're having nowadays. So he predicted how life will look like. We will have skyscrapers, high-speed trains, gas-powered automobiles, and global communication networks. Okay, now here I want you to listen and come up with the answers for what did Jules Verne say life would be like in the future, and why do people call him a visionary person?
Space rockets and submarines and other things in his novels didn't exist in Verne's time, but many of the inventions that Verne imagined became reality by the end of the 1900s. That's why people call Verne a visionary. Okay, so what did he, from the whole thing, what did he predict?
He predicted that people in the future, that people today would travel to the moon, explore the sea, live in skyscrapers. However, these things like submarines and we're having spaceships, rockets, they hadn't existed in the past at his time. However, he predicted that they will take place. Why do people call him a visionary? He is a visionary person. Everyone is calling him Jules Verne is a visionary person. Because he could predict the future. He had the ability to see through the future, to predict, to guess the future. Okay, this is about Jules Verne's his novels and his predictions. How about you? How do you think the future will be like? Now we are speaking about maybe 5-10 years in the future. How can you describe life? Do you think that life will be a better place? Earth will be a good place for living? Life will be better? How computers will look like? What do you think, computers? For me, I think computers will be faster. They will be as well smaller. How about cars? In the future, I think cars will be safer. They will be green. Maybe we will have flying cars. They will be more environmentally friendly. How about other products and other things? How can you see them in the future? Okay. The idea of predicting the future is a common idea amongst all generations. People in the past, they predicted our lives today, and we are predicting people's lives in the future. Here we're having, on page 35, we're having comments that were made in the United States in 1955, and right or wrong predictions. We will listen to the whole thing, and you will decide. In 1955, in the 20th century, they said that this thing will happen. Did it come true or not? Let's listen to them one by one.
I seriously doubt that fast food restaurants will ever catch on.
Have you seen the new cars coming out next year? It won't be long before $1,500 won't even buy a used car.
Did you see where some baseball player just signed a contract for $75,000 a year just to play ball? It wouldn't surprise me if someday they'll be making more than the president.
So let's start with the first one. Someone is saying here, I seriously doubt, I don't think so, that fast food restaurants will ever catch on. People are not going to like it. It's not going to be famous and known by everyone. What do you think? I guess he was wrong. This person was wrong. Have you seen the new car coming out next year? It won't be long before $1,500 won't even buy a used car. What was he trying to say? He was trying to tell us that cars are going to be more and more and more expensive. So he was right. Cars like 7,000 riyals is not going to buy you a used car. You have to pay more and more and more. Then, did you see where some baseball players just signed a contract for $75,000 a year just to play ball? It wouldn't surprise me if someday they will be making more money than the president. And for your information, you can find it by the bottom. For your information, an average baseball player makes nearly $4.5 million a year. So yes, they are making more and more money. So here we're having $75,000 is nothing in comparison with $4.5 million every year today. Okay, let's listen to the following in here, and we're having 3 more predictions. Let's listen.
Soon all our kitchen appliances will be electric. They are even making electric typewriters now.
I'll tell you one thing. If things keep going the way they are, it's going to be impossible to buy a week's groceries for $20.
If they think I'll pay 50 cents for a haircut, forget it.
Okay, so let's take these one by one. The lady in here is speaking about kitchen appliances. These are the kitchen appliances. So she's speaking about the blenders, and we're having the fridge, the oven, and these things. She says soon all the kitchen appliances will be electric. They are even making electric typewriters now. Yes, and she is right. Today all the kitchen appliances, they work on electricity. Nothing is manual. The following, she said, I will tell you one thing. If things keep going the way they are, it is going to be impossible to buy a week's grocery for $20. Can you buy a week's grocery, everything you need from the supermarket for a week for $20 equals less than 100 riyals? I don't think so. And she was right. For your information, what a dollar bought in 1955 would make about 9.65 to buy in 2020 because of inflation. The prices has risen. Things are getting more and more expensive. So anything that you were buying for $1 in 1955, it will cost you today 9.65. Okay, the following said, if they think I will pay 50 cents for a haircut, forget it. So just for cutting a hair for 50 cents, it equals almost 1 to 2 riyals. So they will say, for your information, today a haircut for a man costs an average of $28. Inflation, the prices has risen from 50 cents up to we're having $28. Okay, so we will check these. Mark which of these predictions came true. Things that they predicted in the past, and we are speaking about our lives today. People will drive gas-powered cars. What do you think? I guess it is true. Today, we drive gas-powered cars. People will live in skyscrapers, high-rise buildings. Yes, we live in high-rise buildings in skyscrapers. People will travel to the center of the earth. Travel deep down the earth. I don't think so. We haven't traveled deep to the center of the earth. We have traveled to the moon, not to the center of the earth. Fast food restaurants will not catch on. Fast food restaurants are not trendy, are not famous these days. Do you think so? No. I think everyone likes it and everyone eats in a fast food restaurant. Sports stars will earn more than the president. They are having contracts, very expensive contracts. I guess, yes. Today, it equals more than $4 million for a year. Let's try to do this vocab. Complete the following with the words from the text. So we're having the word novel. How was it described? Restaurant, car, appliance, and we're having also cut. What word was connected with this? We're having collocations, words that usually come together. Novel, we've spoken about adventure novel. You can say science fiction as well. What type of restaurants? We've spoken about fast food restaurants. How about cars? We've spoken about used car. And appliance, kitchen appliance, they are the electric kitchen appliance as well. How about a cut? We've spoken here about a haircut. It comes as a one word like haircut. So we've spoken here about adventure novel, fast food restaurant, car, used car, kitchen appliance, and a haircut. For your homework, I want you to make your own predictions. What are your predictions for the future? Here, think of one thing that we use now, today, and think how it may change in 30 to 40 years. Make predictions of how people will use it in the year 2050. Make your own predictions. Let's come up with computer. How will it look like in the future in 2050? Cars, maybe it is kitchen appliances or any other product. Okay, I guess that is it for our lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.